Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai. We'll go on with chapter 7 of book 9 of the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam. Narayana said, O Narada, thus saying, the Lord of the world stopped, and Lakshmi, Ganga, and Saraswati wept bitterly, embracing one another. All of them then looked to Purusha and gave vent to their feelings one by one, with tears in their eyes and with their hearts throbbing with fears and sorrows. Saraswati said, O Lord, what is now the way out of this curse, so severe and paining since our births? How can helpless women live separated from their husbands? O Lord, I certainly say that I will sacrifice my body when I go to Bharata by taking recourse to yoga. The Mahatmas always protect all the persons without fail. Ganga said, O Lord of the universe, why have I been abandoned by you? What fault have I committed? I will quit my body, and you will have to partake of the sin due to the killing of an innocent woman. He is surely to go to hell, even if he be the Lord of all, who forsakes in this world an innocent wife. Lakshmi said, O Lord, thou art of the nature of the Sattvic guna in fullness. What wonder then how thou hast become angry? However, let thou be pleased now with Saraswati and Ganga. Forgiveness is the best quality of a good husband. I am ready just now to go to Bharata when Saraswati has cursed me. But tell me, how long will I have to stay there? After how many days I shall be able to see again thy lotus feet? The sinners will wash away their dirts of sins in my waters by their constant baths and oblations. By what means shall I be freed again and back into your lotus feet? How long shall I have to remain in my part, the daughter of Dharma Dwaja, at the expiry of which I will be able to see thee again? How long shall I have to assume the form of the Tulsi tree, the abode of thine, O thou, the ocean of mercy? Say, wilt thou deliver me? And if Ganga has to go to Bharata by the curse of Bharati, when shall she be freed of the curse and sin, and when shall she see back thy feet? Again, if Saraswati has to go to Bharata out of Ganga's curse, when will that period of time expire? How many days after shall she be able to come back to thee? Now be pleased to cancel thy order for them to go to Brahma and Shiva respectively. Thus speaking to the Lord, the Devi Lakshmi bowed down at his feet and embracing them by her own hairs of the head, cried frequently. Now the lotus-eyed Vishnu, always eager to show favor to his devotees, smiled and with a gracious heart took up Lakshmi on his breast and said, I will keep my own word. Also I will act according to as you like. O lotus-eyed one, I hear how the two ends can be made to meet. Let Saraswati go in her one part to have the form of a river, and in her other part to Brahma, and remain with me in Vaikuntha in her full parts. Ganga will have to go in one part to Bharata to purify the three worlds, as she will be urged to do so. And she will be remain here one part in the matted hair of Lord Shiva, who has the moon on his forehead, obtained with a great difficulty, and so remain there purer than her natural pure state. And let her remain with me in full parts. O Lakshmi, O lovely-eyed one, you are most innocent, so part of your part will go to Bharata and be the Padmavati river, and you will also be the Tulsi tree. After the expiry of 5,000 years of Kali Yuga, your curse will expire. Again, you all will come to my abode. O Lakshmi, calamities are the causes of the happiness of the embodied beings. Without dangers, no one can understand the true nature of happiness. The saint worshippers of my mantra, who will perform their ablutions in your water, will free you of all your curse by touch and sight. O fair one, by the sight and touch of my bhaktas, all the sacred places of pilgrimages in this world will be purified. For uplifting and sanctifying the holy earth, Ganapatas, Sakatas, Shivas, they are devoted to Brahma. All are residing in Bharata, where my bhaktas reside and wash their feet. That place is undoubtedly reckoned as the holy places of pilgrimages. So much so that by the sight and touch of my devotees, the murder of a woman, of a cow, of a Brahmin, the treacherous and even the stealer of the wives of one's guru will be sanctified and liberating while living. By the sight and touch of my devotees, those who live on their swords, pens, and the royal officials, the beggars in a village, and the brahmanas who carry bullocks are also freed of their sins. The traitors, the mischief makers of their friends, those who give false evidence, those that steal others' trust properties, are also freed of their sins by the sight and touch of my devotees. O fair one, the sins of those persons who do not maintain their fathers, mothers, brothers, wives, sons, daughters, sisters, the blind friends, the families of the gurus, the father-in-laws, the mother-in-laws, are all removed by the sight and touch of my devotees. Mahalakshmi said, O thou gracious to fulfill a faithful attendance, what are the characteristics that the marks of those bhaktas of thine, and that thou hast spoken of just now, whose sight and touch destroy instantly the 5 great sins that are destroyed after a long time by the water of the tirthas and the stone images of the gods? The sins of vilest of men, devoid of Vishnu bhakti, vain and egoistic, cheats, hypocrites, slanderers of saints, vicious souls, are destroyed by your bhaktas, whose such an ablution sanctify the sacred places of pilgrimages. By the touch of the dust and water of those feet, the earth is purified, whom the bhaktas of Bharata also pray to the sea, and there is nothing higher than the meeting of those bhaktas. Thus, hearing the words of Mahalakshmi, the Lord smiled and began to speak about the secret things on the marks of the bhaktas. O Lakshmi, the marks of the bhaktas are all mentioned very hiddenly in the Shrutis and Puranas. These are very sanctifying, destructive of sins, giving happiness, devotion, and liberation. These are never to be described to deceitful person. These are the essences and to be kept hidden. But you are very simple and like my life. I therefore speak to you here, O fair one. All the Vedas declare him to be holy and of the best of men, in whose ears are pronounced from the mouth of the Guru the Vishnu mantra. At the very moment of his being born into this world, 100 generations back of that person's, whether they be at that time in heaven or hell, get instantaneous liberation. And if any of them happen to be born then as Jivas, they become liberated at once while living, and finally get Vishnu Patam, the place of Vishnu. That mortal is my bhakta, my devotee, who is full of devotion to me, who always repeats my glories and acts according to my directions, who hears with all his heart my topics, and hearing which, whose mind dances with joy, whose voice gets choked with tears incessantly flow out from whose eyes, who loses his outward consciousness. Such a man is indeed my bhakta. My bhaktas do not long for happiness or mukti or the 4 states, nor the Brahmahood, nor the Devahood. They want only to do service, seva, to me, and they are solely intent on doing this. Even the dreams they do not desire, the Indraship, the Manuship, the state of Brahma, so very difficult to be had, nor do they want the enjoyment of kingdoms and heavens. My bhaktas roam in Bharata, eager to hear my stories and always very glad to recite my sweet glorious deeds. The birth of such a bhakta in Bharata is very rare. They purify the world and go ultimately to my abode, the best of all the tirthas, sacred places. Thus I have spoken, O Lakshmi, all that you wanted to hear. Now do as you like. Then Ganga and the others will all went to obey the order of Sri Vishnu, who went to his own abode. Here ends the 7th chapter of the 9th book on the curse of Ganga, Saraswati, and Lakshmi, and the way to freedom thereof in the Mahapuran, Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshvari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.